Ethiopia, with 120 million people and one of Africa's fastest-growing economies, is landlocked, trapped without a direct route to the sea. For over 30 years, this has been a national straitjacket. Now Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has declared that regaining access to the Red Sea is a matter of survival. His message: Ethiopia's future depends on a coastline, and it's prepared to act. All eyes are on the Eritrean port of Assab, a symbol of what Ethiopia lost, and a strategic prize at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for global trade. Control of Assab would break Ethiopia's costly dependence on Djibouti and project its power into a vital maritime corridor. Abiy's rhetoric is forceful, rallying the nation around the idea that true sovereignty requires access to the sea. The tension is palpable. Two heavily armed nations, with a history of bloody conflict, now face off across a volatile border. Eritrea's response is defiant. The world is no longer asking if something will happen, but what will happen? Will diplomacy prevail, or is the Horn of Africa on the brink of a conflict that could destabilize the entire region? The fuse is lit. The world is watching. The next move could change the fate of millions. To understand the crisis, rewind to when Ethiopia wasn't landlocked. Its Red Sea coastline, including Assab, was its commercial lifeline. That changed in 1993, when Eritrea gained independence after a brutal war. Ethiopia lost its coast overnight. Assab, built for Ethiopia, became foreign soil. Initial port access deals collapsed after the 1998-2000 border war, leaving Assab a ghost port and Ethiopia dependent on Djibouti. This dependency costs Ethiopia over $1.5 billion a year, a huge burden for a developing nation. More than money, it's a strategic vulnerability. Ethiopia's trade is at the mercy of another country's politics and stability. The loss of Assab is a wound that never healed, seen as a historic blunder and a source of national grievance. Today's government channels this resentment, arguing that a nation of 120 million cannot remain hostage to geography. For many Ethiopians, regaining sea access isn't aggression. It's correcting a historical wrong. The demand for Assab is about restoring dignity and control. The stakes are as much about identity as economics. There was hope for peace when Abiy Ahmed and Eritrea's Isaias Afwerki ended decades of hostility in 2018. The world cheered, and Abiy won the Nobel Peace Prize. But the peace was fragile, built on shared enemies, not shared vision. Once the Tigray conflict ended, old suspicions resurfaced. Ethiopia's landlocked status was never resolved, only postponed. By 2025, Abiy's rhetoric about the Red Sea had escalated to ultimatums. Eritrea's Isaias fired back, calling Ethiopia's ambitions childish provocation. Both leaders now use fiery language to rally their nations and harden positions. For Abiy, a port is national destiny. For Isaias, defending Assab is defending Eritrean sovereignty. The peace deal is in tatters, replaced by threats and accusations. Each side's words make compromise harder, pushing them further apart. The war of words has become a dangerous standoff. Diplomacy seems more distant than ever. Words have given way to action. Both sides are moving troops and heavy weapons to the border. Ethiopia's military buildup in the Afar region puts Assab within striking distance. Eritrea is on high alert, its military dug in. The border is now one of Africa's most militarized zones, each side interpreting the other's moves as threats. Alliances are shifting. The Tigray People's Liberation Front, once Ethiopia's enemy, now aligns with Eritrea against Abiy's government. Ethiopia tries to counter by backing rival Tigrayan factions, deepening internal divisions. Any conflict over Assab would be chaotic, a multi-sided war, not a simple border fight. The risk of regional conflagration is real. The chessboard is set for a conflict that could spiral out of control. The region stands on a knife's edge. A war here would shake the world. The Horn of Africa is a strategic crossroads. Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian Ocean converge here. The humanitarian cost would be staggering. Past wars killed and displaced hundreds of thousands. A new conflict could be even worse. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait, next to Assab, is a vital artery for global trade and oil. Instability could disrupt shipping and spike prices worldwide. Major powers, China, the US, Saudi Arabia, the EU, are watching anxiously. The risk of a wider proxy conflict is high, with Egypt, the UAE, and others poised to take sides. International bodies urge restraint, knowing a war could unravel years of peacebuilding and destabilize fragile neighbors like Somalia and Sudan. Extremist groups could exploit the chaos. This is more than a local dispute, it's a crisis with global consequences. The stakes could not be higher. 4 futures are possible. First, a diplomatic deal. International mediation secures Ethiopia port access in exchange for compensation and guarantees to Eritrea. This avoids war, but requires compromise. Second, a limited skirmish. Ethiopia seizes a small area to force talks. But limited wars often spiral out of control. Third, full-scale war. Ethiopia launches a major offensive for Assab. Both sides are battle-hardened. The conflict would be catastrophic, drawing in regional powers and causing immense suffering. Fourth, de-escalation. Under global pressure, Ethiopia backs down, relying on Djibouti and leaving the core issue unresolved. Each path carries huge risks. The region's future hangs in the balance. The wrong move could ignite a disaster. The right one could set a precedent for peaceful resolution. The world waits for a decision. October 6, 2025. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. The standoff over Assab is more than a border dispute. It's a defining moment for the region. Ethiopia demands an end to its landlocked status. Eritrea defends its hard-won sovereignty. The challenge: find a solution that respects both nations' core principles. The outcome will shape not just Ethiopia and Eritrea, but the future of peace and conflict in Africa. A war would shatter hopes for regional integration and stability. The world is watching, hoping for diplomacy, bracing for conflict. The next chapter will echo far beyond the red